welcome to Preach Care Preach with Rashad. We are the prophets. In the episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to us. Rashad, man, what's going on?
Oh man, it's almost the spooky season, man. Almost Halloween, almost the first part of November, and it's almost election time, man. So I hope everybody's out, trick or treating safely if they're gonna do that, and of course, go cast your votes, man. It's a season to go out here and make your voice count.
Yeah, good job bringing that up, man. It's been a lot of we talked about the debates and all this kind of stuff, man. We just need change. Like whatever the change may be, make sure, like you said, make sure your votes get count and your voice be heard. And hope for the best. I mean, at the same time, you put your vote in, and you may not be happy with the outcome, but you can't be one of those people that be like, well, did you vote? Nah. Well, shut up. you ain't got nothing to say then. You can't complain about what happened at the outcome. So, make sure that's I already voted already. I did my early voting already.
Voting is Tuesday the 3rd.
So I've
No,
already,
the actual election day.
yeah. So I already did mine. I'm just sitting back waiting and going. I guess I'll turn the TV on and see what states win what.
Well, yeah, you got the absentee ballots out there, so go ahead and send those in. Send if you got it, send it in. Go stand in line, early vote, do what you can, because it's almost here. So.
Oh yeah. And another thing, man, I cannot wait till Tuesday. Sick and tired of these these text messages, these calls. I get them every single day. I'm getting a little tired of it. So I'll be telling everyone I already voted to take me off the list. But either way, it's gonna be a good day, hopefully, for the American people as we go through about that. We got some football tonight. Carolina, Atlanta. We'll get into that a little bit later, I guess. But so another thing that's happening next week is the trade deadline, where teams are got to make their last push, right, to find out who we're going to trade to get to the playoffs and who's going to sell.
That's Tuesday.
Yeah, so you talking about a big day next week. We saw Everson Griffin get traded from Cowboys to the Lions. Lions right now are 3-3, I believe, and still have a chance to make the playoffs. He has Seattle trade for Carlos Dunlap from Cincinnati. So basically, it's a lot of things you need in this league. You need a quarterback, you need somebody to catch the ball, receiver. You need somebody to protect the quarterback, get after the quarterback, and a corner to help shut down a receiver. Those to me are like the main positions. And you saw those two teams went out and got what they needed. And we'll see about Everson Griffin. Like me as a Vikings fan, I love Everson Griffin, aka the sack daddy in Minnesota for so long. Go to Dallas, doesn't look like he belonged. And maybe that's a scheme or whatever it is. But now you get to go to Detroit and hopefully a new start. I think a lot of people miss out when you get traded. Especially like somebody like Griffin who didn't play long for the Cowboys, but it's kind of blessed for him. Like now you get to go just pin your ears back and just go after the quarterback on a team that's trying to win instead of I don't know what the Cowboys are trying to do right now, but and then same thing with Dunlap. He get I guess motivated now. You go from Cincinnati to Seattle, Super Bowl aspirations. So you're talking about somebody who's motivated to come to work. So I thought those two good moves for the teams that that got him. I think Cincinnati got a bag of chips for Carlos.
I mean, they weren't going to, they're not really winning a whole lot of games. And whatever his contract is, I'm pretty sure he has a lot of incentives in it. So, at least on Seattle, you get a chance to maybe hit some playoff bonuses, or you get a chance to get a few more sacks and stuff like that. You just kind of get a chance to hit some of your bonuses and get a little extra money on the back end versus, with Cincinnati, they're going through a rebuild, for the most part of Andy Dalton out, Marvin Lewis out a couple of years ago. So they're just kind of retooling everything and drafting, starting fresh with Boyd, Mixon, Burrow, Higgins, things like that. So, they did him right by sending him to a winning team.
Oh, yeah. And that's all you can ask for. It is a business, but at the same time, those teams do look out for you for what you've done for that franchise. Like we say it all the time, there's no way they're gonna trade you to another sorry team. That just don't make any sense for either party. So I think that's a good move. Marcus Golden to Arizona. I think that is an underrated move that nobody gonna talk about. But when you lose Chandler Jones, you need some assurance, and he's a pass rusher. The Giants gave him up for I think for like a 6th round pick. So very low investment for Arizona, who's 5-2 right now, also looking for a playoff push and Super Bowl aspirations. So all three teams, who made a move so far, need it, and they all got the same kind of ideology behind it, and that's pass rushing. So um, before we get into who else might get traded, I think we have to like set up this right here and talking about perception on guys before they get traded and like after. Le'Veon Bell, we talked about him. Go to Pittsburgh, one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best at the time. And he want the bag, go to New York, get the bag, and then now, oh, I don't have a top 5 O line. Oh, I don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Oh, I don't have a Hall of Fame receiver on the side out there as well. Now look at me, and everybody kept saying what? I mean, is fantasy, bro. We was always getting him like top 5, and now he was like, I don't even know if I want him. Like that's the kind of perception we all faced in fantasy. You guys play that, and you'd be like, do I really want him as an RB2? Do I trust the Jets? Do I trust Adam Gase? And those things play in your mind. But now on the Chiefs, like he didn't get traded, but as far as like perception of going to a new team in a better situation, oh, I got Mahomes, I got Andy Reid, I got all these weapons around me, I got a good old line. Now I have a chance to emerge and maybe get some value back to my name. And even in a running back by committee approach, he's still gonna be dangerous. And I think that's the point. Like when you leave a certain team and go to somewhere else, like all right, now is my chance to show up.
Like Bell's one of those guys where he has to redeem himself a lot because
Yeah,
you went from top 2 in the game, him and Gurley, to now you set out a year, so you lost a year of no activity, so you lost a year of paychecks, no football. Then you spend the last year and some of this year, so we'll say last year and a half, on one of the worst teams in football. You haven't hit 1,000 yards. You're not really catching the ball much. Whether that's the offense, you, the quarterback, whatever the case may be, you're not producing. Like your yards per carries went down, so you're hurting your career numbers,
right.
stuff like that. So his whole outlook of what he was to what he currently is, and to what we think of him career wise. Like now it's more like Pittsburgh made him elite, not he's actually elite. So you kind of just start putting asterisks on everything, even though that's the thing going on in 2020, putting an asterisk on everything. I hate that, but that's kind of what it's turned into. Like his career is going to be Pittsburgh, and then everything after. And like right now, it's not looking too good. Yeah, you're on the Chiefs. You're a bigger running back than Clyde, so you may get some goal line work. You may be able to get a few touchdowns and things like that. But even once this year's over,
Where's
what's
he gonna
next?
go? Yeah.
Where do you sign? Like you get a chance to decide your fate again, but where do you go?
Mm-hmm.
What's gonna be your contract? Will you return to being a prominent back? Because you're only on the Chiefs because you got
Good.
bought out, released, or whatever. So
Yeah.
you're only there because of the situation. You're on a minimum deal,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not gonna take a minimum again. Granted, the Jets they're gonna pay your money, so what his next move is going to be even more critical.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, it's like okay, now we get to see Bell on a good team, and he's gonna like whether it's a lot of them, he's gonna have some good games, and that's just the Andy Reid offense. That's having Mahomes, that's having a better O line than New York and having a better front office. So I think like we have to look at that and because you went from Pittsburgh, who's one of the best run organizations in NFL. There's a reason why they have 6 Super Bowls. There's a reason why they only have like 5 coaches or 4 coaches all time. There's a reason why the Rooneys are like the best owners to do it in sports. And to throw all that away, I mean, I get it. I understand, man. You got to make your money when you can, especially in football. Like we see how quick people like lives are as far as like football life, and so I get it. I understand chasing the bag, and is what it is. But
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh they weren't giving some money. He just
he wanted
thought he
more.
deserved more, and then now you go take some money, and it don't even work out. So like the money you lost sitting out, and what you got from the Jets, you should have stayed in Pittsburgh with a better situation. But it worked out for them because yeah, they lost you, they lost AB, Ben went down with his injury, but they're
They're
still
still
right
good.
there. They're still right there in the thick of it. They
Yeah,
they brought
best team.
Connor in. Like they did the right thing. They didn't pay the running back, and you're still right there. Yeah, you had an 8-8 year because Ben went out and stuff
And you
happened,
still with 8-8. That's the point. Like, yeah.
but if you'd have had a good backup QB, you go 10-6, make the playoffs, and then come back this year, we wouldn't be surprised you're so good. So,
Right.
I mean, they did the right thing. They didn't pay Bill. They didn't hand over a bag to AB. And
Good
look
job,
at both those
Pittsburgh.
guys now. I mean, granted, AB's gonna be with the Bucks in a week or two, and he could redeem himself.
I would say in bed with the Chiefs. So I guess both of them at the end of the day got somewhere. But what did they take? What risk did it take? What complicate? Being out the league for a while, both of them, and you know, I guess it's all kind of full circle. Yeah, you back on the Super Bowl
I mean,
contenders,
they,
but
they, they lost more than they gained, though. They
yeah,
lost
yeah,
more than they gained because
yeah,
AB went to Oakland, Vegas Raiders, and he had to he had his bad, but he acted out and didn't even really get it.
right.
Like because he had to stay a few more days for it to be guaranteed, but he didn't do it. He got cut too early. You signed with the
Good job by the
Pats.
Raiders.
Yeah, I mean you signed with the Pats for a game, then you're out because of your legal stuff. We just talked about Bill, so I mean, reputation wise and financially, I mean, you could kind of say both guys lost out because Bill sat out a year, so that's a year of money you didn't even make. So in a way, both guys lost out, but who knows? Maybe they end up Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl. They get to play each other, and one of them gets a ring. I mean,
It's
you
possible.
never know how it can work out,
Yeah.
but
So if we staying in Tampa with AB, I think it's the same kind of situation. Like, yeah, this wasn't a trade. Tom Brady didn't get traded to Tampa Bay, but like I don't like all this. Cause you always ride with the Patriots, especially with Bill Belichick. So it's like I don't like how everybody's coming at Bill like saying like, oh, we told y'all Tom Brady wasn't done, and Tom Brady won the divorce, and Cam Newton looking terrible, and and I'm not even the biggest Cam Newton fan there is. Like I'm always reserved on he's one of the best athletes, but he to me for accuracy that's not my type of quarterback. But either way, I don't like this whole thing like Tampa Bay's only reason why they're so good is because of Tom Brady and the Patriots are bad because of Tom Brady. And I think that's the same situation. Like I think we talked about it off air. Like Tom Brady was gonna be if he was gonna be sorry in New England. I think they were gonna be the same thing they are with Cam right now. Like struggling to win games. All those guys that opted out for COVID. You don't have the weapons. Nikhil's not good. Edelman had surgery, so he probably won't get traded. I don't know if that's what he did, but he got a little small surgery. And you over here relying on Jacoby Myers and Demir Bird and whoever they got at tight end. And so it's like it didn't matter if that was Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Brett Favre. Like these, there's no way you can survive all this. And now that Tom Brady is in Tampa, he gets the light of like, oh, it was him. Without him, you know, Patriots won't be this bad. But think about it, he was actually very, very smart. Get out of the situation because he knew. We all knew. I knew. Like coming to season, I think we both had him like 7-9, 8-8. Anyway, the Patriots, and now it was like, do they even get that? So he was smart, and that's what it is. He changed the perception because I was saying like he's done, like with New England. Like I was saying that he wasn't that quarterback to make guys anymore. You know what I mean? Like how he made Wes Welker, quote unquote, and all that kind of stuff. And like he's not that guy to take a team over the top anymore. But when you got AB, Mike Evans, Godwin, Gronk returning to form, Rojo in the backfield, Fournette, and the defense you got, it don't take too much. You know what I'm saying? So I thought we had to like talk about that for a second, just because I don't like everybody coming on Bill Belichick like he don't know what he doing. I don't know. Not that he losing, like he don't know what he doing now. I guess.
no, I mean it's a thing of how people always talk about like raising kids to the village type of thing. Winning football games takes a village. Like the Patriots in the last few years have been slowly declining,
Yeah.
but now this year and this past year they in in the Patriot world they hit rock bottom because you don't have any elite wide receiver. Like Edelman's your best guy, you can't win with that because Gronk had gotten beat up so much he had to leave the game, so you didn't have that one dominant weapon. Like for the most part, they always had something, whether it was
Something.
Randy or the
Deion
two tight end
Branches,
set.
Deion
Yeah, you
Branches
always
of the
had
world.
something.
Yeah.
You always had something like it was gonna be Hernandez and Grunt double tight end. That was unguardable. Like they were killing the game at that point. Then you had the Randy and the Welker, and even when Randy left, they still had Grunt. So you still had a dominant weapon. You still had multi-level running backs. You still had elite defensive players: Chandler Jones, Jamie Collins, Stephon Gilmore, Hightower. So,
The McCourties and all that. Yeah.
I mean, you always had a great offensive line, one of the most famous offensive line gurus to keep patchworking and fixing it. So you always had something to keep you steady, keep you going. That's why, for the most part, it was a cakewalk. But the last 2 years, I don't care who it is. If you don't get something to work with, even the greatest can't
Can't.
pull it off. I mean, like you look at any sport, basketball. Like LeBron James can get you to the finals, but he ain't gonna win it with George Hill, Jordan Clarkson. Like, yeah, I mean, you can barely get a game with that.
Yeah.
And even at that point, it's gonna take a career game, and you
compete.
still lose it because of J.R. Smith. So, stuff like that happens, man. Like, you can be as great as you want to be, but your situation will always limit your ceiling. So,
Yeah.
with no weapons, I mean, Brady was smart. I have to leave New England. Our old line is deteriorating. My receiving core is non-existent. The running backs are not producing. Like,
Bro. And
I mean, if we want to be all the way honest about it, that's part of the reason why they got down 23 against the Falcons, because they just didn't. They weren't producing. I mean, yeah, they got hot second half, and the Falcons made some dumb plays to let them back in it. But their whole first half, their weapons were just not clicking. Like, they looked done then.
yeah.
And even against the Rams, the weapons weren't really there because
they don't score
like 13 points.
Yeah. I was saying, and that's the thing, bro. Tom Brady was in the same situation last year, and if he stayed this year, as what we talk about, Matt Stafford, the Matt Ryans, those type of guys where it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what else am I supposed? I have no defense. I have no O line. My receiving core is up and down. And you, like, I mean, obviously Matt Ryan got Julio Jones, but before Calvin Ridley got there, what else did they have? You know what I'm saying? And he had an Asian Roddy White in them guys, and Stafford outside of Megatron, and now he got Kenny Galladay. He didn't have no guys either. So it's like those guys been going through this so long, yet yet like Tom Brady had the pass where the defense not defense doing this, the whole line is doing this and this and that. How come he don't you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, I get it. Tom Brady is the GOAT. I think that's what it is. And the Staffords and the Matt Ryan of the world, and we can go on about a lot of guys who've been in a situation where they don't have anything, and yet we killed them for not winning. But Tom Brady did a smart thing. I'm out of here. Like, and that's why I wish, like, Matt Ryan, I wish Stafford can go somewhere and what I'm saying, like, and try to do what Tom Brady just did, because now he on a Super Bowl champion contending team. And all they did was the defenses got better, and you added Gronk and you added AB. You didn't really add too much else. I mean, you drafted a left tackle, and guys on your team emerge and develop. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can name a team that Stafford can go into next year, and then they can be a Super Bowl contending team. And I think that's the point, like with Tom Brady. So, I don't like the whole about the Patriots only bad because of Tom Brady left and Bill Belichick lost. Like you said, they was already going down, and you didn't do anything but add Cam Newton. Like, you added a quarterback like I said before the season, you didn't move the needle with that. Like, whatever Tom Brady was last year, Cam Newton is the same thing. It's just giving you something different. Like, whether you run it with Cam or versus throwing it with Tom. So, I don't know. Maybe people got to get that out their mindset. Like, they just see result based, and we can't be like results in the world. I don't think that's how we should operate. But
no, it's just one of those things where Brady kind of set himself up to be able to exit, like, contract wise. Like, he didn't take an extension or extra year when they were winning. He was kind of like, I'm just gonna play it almost year by year basis. Versus you got guys like Matt Ryan and Stafford. They already then took these huge 5-6 year deals, and they're still playing in the middle of them. Right. Now, granted, maybe after this season, Matt Ryan will get moved on from. But as far as like trade deadline wise, I mean, they're kind of already saying like him and Julio are not gonna be touched for this year. So maybe maybe in the off season, Matt Ryan gets moved. Maybe he asks to go somewhere else. I'm not really sure where he would want to go. Of course, he has his Boston college ties. So if New England did do something, they could chase after him. But I don't think you'll want to go to New England
Nah,
when
I'd rather stay with Julio.
when it's nothing there, for
Yeah.
your. So I mean, I'm sure, and Matt Ryan's getting older too. So, but his arm and everything is still elite, still intact. He hasn't had any major injuries. He's been pretty healthy for his career. So he can definitely go somewhere and win some games if Arthur Blank and whoever they bring in as GM and coach to say, hey, let's go in a different direction, or we're at the
Because
top of
they
the
will.
draft.
They will at
Let's
some
go ahead
point.
and draft somebody. Let's go ahead and try to get a Lawrence or Fields or Lance or uh, but somebody else. Just guys are out there that can't be drafted. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Do you want to take a chance on them?
Right. Exactly. Um, and before we get into it, Unique Ngakwe, we talked about earlier, but he got traded, uh, from the Jags situation to the Ravens situation. Now he's gonna compete for a Super Bowl versus the Jags and the Vikings, where he was just playing and he's still dominating. So now he's on the Ravens. I can't wait for this weekend. Like Ravens Steelers is gonna be, Calais Campbell and Unique back together versus the T.J. Watt and Cameron Hayward. Like that's gonna be crazy to watch those two defenses go to work. Um, so let's change gears and go and get to the guys who are going to get traded or potentially get traded by Tuesday. We talked about Stephon Gilmore. His house being up for sale in New England. We talked about the Patriots. How you said before, he was like Patriots. Bill ain't paying nobody. We losing. So Gilmore, is there any options? I mean, the way you think he could go, because obviously the connections are any Bill Belichick guys. So I think Miami is out because they paid Byron Jones and got Xavier Howard. They don't really need Gilmore. That's just being too greedy at cornerback position, in my opinion. And I think we said Titans. Like that's probably my favorite destination for them. Stay in the same New England defense, a team that needs you, and a team that's going to win. Like and need that shutdown guy to cover the Clay Chase Pools of the world in Pittsburgh to go against who's another receiver in the AFC that's dominating. Um, I can't think of. I guess Tyreek Hill and Kelsey of the world like stop them. So, what do you think about Gilmore? Is it
Well,
realistic to get traded? I don't even know if it's realistic how much money he makes.
he can get traded, but you're going to have to look for somebody who has the draft capital that Bill wants, but also feel like they're not finessing themselves by giving up too many picks
Right.
and taking back his contract he just signed. So you got to find a perfect match for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is gonna be hard. And even though his house is up for sale, I mean that don't mean he'll get moved by Tuesday. I mean, that could just be a move saying, "Hey, we're gonna try to move you, put you in the best situation possible.
Yeah.
But if we can't, all season
We'll
we'll
find
move
something.
you and we'll renegotiate your contract and get you moved or something." But because sometimes it's hard to move a guy mid-season when you kind of were. I mean, they're
Banking on him.
competitive, so they were hoping like, hey, we can get to 9, 10 wins, maybe compete in the playoff. I mean, that was a optimistic view, but I was down on Patriots 5, 6 win team. But I mean, he's still, if not the best, one of the best corners in the game. I still think he's number one. He's just not on the
Winning
winning
team
team
right
right
now.
now.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'll say this.
But Titans would be like the typical thing to do with Vrabel, and they
Belichick.
just
Yeah.
got Clowney and stuff like that, and the connection. So he would be able to go there and shut down one side of the field. I mean, they've had past Pats guys come there and compete and be good. So that would be if you just look
Makes
out the
sense.
landscape, that's the ideal move. But it may not happen. Like I think most time when guys are getting floated in trades and you kind of eyeball something like that, sometimes it's the one move that you're not thinking about that always happens.
Um, what am I about to say? Like I would say this: the Patriots will be sellers if they lose Sunday, because all right. So predicting what happens Sunday, Miami Rams. I think we both taking Rams in this game and Tua's first start.
Yeah, you got to take
You
it
going
right.
you going
Aaron Donald with a rookie QB.
right. So that's so Dolphins 3-4. Just going to say that. So the Patriots play the Bills this week. The Bills lost 2 games in a row. Struggle against the Jets. So if you beat the Bills, you're right there. And do you really want to trade with Cam now being healthy out from COVID and Gilmore? You might be struggling to win the division. I don't know if winning the division is in the best interest. But at the same time, it's like you're not far. So I guess you wouldn't sell a Gilmore, that type of talent, if you're like one game away. So I think that decision will be based off Sunday's results. And like I said, I don't want to be resulters in sports, but at the same time, we're only gonna make this move if this happens. So we'll see. We'll see come Sunday where the Gilmore goes and where. Another big name that we've been talking about for a long time, AJ Green. Like T Higgins is here. Like they drafted him in the second round for a reason. He's been balling out all season. Obviously, Tyler Boyd's already been paid as a receiver. He is, and he's been balling too. So if you're not going to, you don't really need to pay three receivers. Well, he was on the rookie contract, but you don't need three receivers like that and have him mixing. So AJ Green is the likely guy out because he's not part of the future. And I'm interested to see where you think his best fits are, or a team you think he would go to if he was traded. I'll start off with one. I think I like him in New Orleans because I don't know what's going on with Slant Boy, but Emmanuel Sanders is not it, and Slant Boy keep doing anything. He's doing everything not to play, like whatever it is, ankle, hamstring, punch somebody in the face. So I think New Orleans might be a good fit because you have to be all in on Drew Brees' last season. In my opinion, should be his last season. So that's the move. You can't rely on Kamara the whole time, and that's not going. I don't think that's going to win you a Super Bowl. So if you want to win, I guess you go AJ Green is my prediction. I guess not confident, but
I mean, just looking at the Bengals' past history, they could have moved AJ last year, but
they
they
should
didn't.
have. What? Why
So,
not?
like, just looking at what the Bengals are historically, they may not do it. I mean, they may be more inclined to move on from John Ross because they're giving him healthy DNPs. So, a guy like John Ross could get moved because
And they gonna cut him.
like you look at their team, they have AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, T Higgins emerging, Arden Tate who played good ball last year, and John Ross. So you have five, and then you have Gio Bernard who can play some receiver for you. Joe Mixon who can catch the ball pretty good. So you have, I mean,
A lot of
they
catches.
have a lot of guys who can catch the ball. So you need to move on from somebody. I would love to see AJ Green go compete with a contender. I wouldn't go New Orleans. I would go somewhere like Green Bay just because of I don't see New Orleans doing it just because of AJ is not the same explosive guy he once was. Like he's kind of more intermediate now. So I think him and MT's game may end up clashing to a certain extent. Like, and plus he's going to, I say demand the ball, but you go trade for him, you want to feed him the ball. Like I can see New Orleans trying to get like a Golden Tate, somebody, a little more underneath because Breeze don't have the arm to do all that down the field stuff no more. So, I can see New Orleans getting like a Golden Tate, but Aaron Rodgers can still sling it. I can see that being a move. I can see possibly going to 49ers. That could be a move because they need. I mean, I like Ayuk, but they need
Debo
they
keep getting
need a
hurt.
receiver out
And
there.
Debo keep getting hurt. So that's twice already this year. But for Green Bay, I've been adamant about Green Bay getting somebody like a Golden Tate, somebody who's like got speed and kind of smaller because all these players are like 6'3" up, and you add another guy like AJ Green, MVS, Lazard, Adams, and not AJ Green. Yeah, I mean the big trees for Aaron Rodgers, but can we get some speed out there for him like the Cobbs of the world? Like that's when Aaron Rodgers was in his bag when you got Nelson and Adams and you got a guy like Cobb who can take a 5-yard slant to the crib, and so that's kind of a receiver. I really want a receiver like that to go to Green Bay versus AJ. But I get what you're saying. Like you gotta take what's available. And maybe T.Y. Hilton is a move for Green Bay. I mean, instead, somebody who he can take the top off the defense, but he also can go underneath and have the speed to take off. And I don't know. I just think Green Bay needs some more dynamic. I mean, because you don't really hear Adams catching the ball and taking it to the crib. Like you don't really hear that. He's usually catching the ball and scoring when he catch it. Like he don't really have that yards at the catch. And I don't know if the like when you watch Tennessee Titans, Tannehill throw a slant to AJ Brown, he going 75 yards every week. It seems like, and I don't know how much Green Bay values that, but at the same time, it's like it'd be nice to have. So you're right. I mean, AJ Green, 49ers, I like that a lot. Trying to think of another team. Any other team need a receiver? That's one step away.
I'm like, if you're just in that window to go for it, like Tennessee, like they're in a window to go for it. Like Tennessee should be all in on everything. You
Or
paid
something.
Tannehill,
Yeah, go on something.
like
Yeah.
you like Like you paid Tannehill, you got Derrick Henry on his franchise tag, and you've been running him in the ground for like the last couple of years.
That's
So
not a bad idea though. Like,
I mean, their defense ain't all that good, but
so why not outscore everybody? That's
at,
smart.
at, at least go all in.
Yeah.
Like Corey Davis has had his best year ever. Adam Humphries got a bag from them, and he's more slot, and he's been
And
productive too.
he's been
I mean,
pretty good.
I
I
like
like
him.
him. Yeah,
He's been
I like him.
productive. You got Janu. Why not just take a
Hey,
dive with somebody else? Like,
that's not a bad idea because you're talking about like if we're not going to outscore stop anybody on defense. Well, let's just do what Seattle doing. Let's just outscore them, and sometimes that work. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best thing, but when you have guys like a Clowney or a Kevin Byard, you got stars on defense. It's not like you terrible on defense. You got stars in places. It's just not working. And you got to think Vrabel will get that under control at some point. But if you can't get a guy like Gilmore, yeah, go on offense and let's swing for the. That's what the Chiefs do. That's what the Bucks did with AB. Swing for the fences, and you talking about you still have to compete for that, and you're 5-1, and you just lost your first game, and you can sweep your division if you really wanted to. Cause like playing the Colts, if Xavier Rhodes, he's like top 5 in PFF grades right now. If he's shut down, quote unquote, AJ Brown, who else you gonna go to? Or if that Buckner and Darius Leonard stop Derrick Henry, what you gonna do? So yeah, I'm with you. Like that's not bad. Like that's not bad at all. They're not gonna get Ty, so you might get AJ. That's
and they won't do it because it's in division, but the Ravens should look at AJ Green. They need a
yeah,
receiver, man. You need a big body like
right.
this.
Ravens should do whatever it takes to get AJ Green. Now, whether the Bengals want to help them out, but I guess for the Bengals, does it really matter if AJ Green over there at this,
It
at
will.
this point?
He in a franchise tag.
I mean,
It's a couple of games, and then he can pick his own fate. I, mean,
right.
I would do it
I would do
for
it
the
too.
for the right draft compensation. I'll send him anywhere he want to go
What's
to
the
win.
what's the right conversation? Because I think a fourth is fine. Like I don't think that's bad. You know what I'm saying? Like because you're gonna lose them anyway. So
Yeah, I mean a third or a fourth or somewhere in that.
yeah, Ravens might get him for a fifth. Is what the Ravens be doing as a GM. So
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna lose him for nothing anyway because you're not gonna franchise him again. I hope not. That's just wasting time. That's just wasting money.
I mean, I'm surprised he even signed in state this year.
He ain't got nothing else to do, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
I
because
guess with
you could
everything
have
going on,
you could have opted out for
he want to
COVID.
stay loyal. He want to stay loyal to the team and
Yeah.
he still get paid. And for a franchise tender, I mean, I think he got like 15, 16 million. So I mean, I can't blame him for signing that because he probably wouldn't have got that money
Yeah.
coming
Anyway,
from somewhere else, considering he's been injured. So I can't blame him for opting in, but you can tell like he's tired of being on a losing franchise. I mean, he's probably one of the 5 or 6 best receivers of the past decade, or at least most explosive.
yeah. I
With the
mean,
Larrys, Calvin's, Julio,
AB that probably been
Odell,
the best.
AB. So you probably got to
Yeah.
put AJ Green right there around 5 through 7. So he deserves a chance to go win.
Now pivoting off those teams, but staying or on those teams, but staying with the receivers. What about Packers to Will Fuller? That's been rumored. Like
I
we talking
like
about
that.
speed. We talking about a guy who can do what AJ Green as far as like he's not that kind of small of a receiver, so he can take the top off the defense underneath route, and that's you give Aaron Rodgers Will Fuller. I hate to see how you plan to stop that because I have no answer for it. Like unless you got the Baltimore Ravens corners in secondary, I don't know how you do it. Like
Nah, it'll be tough because that's
because you
Adams
can't
top
guard Adams.
5 in the game.
You can't guard Adams. Adams is one of the best route runners, like at least top 10 if you want to have no debate about it. Top 10 in the league as far as route running. You talking about Will Fuller, who's top 5, one of the fastest receivers in the game. That's a dangerous 1-2 punch, like dangerous with the ability to stop Aaron Rodgers, who's gonna throw it to anybody, who can spread it around and have Aaron Jones in the backfield. That's tough. Now, Texans they said that Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, Tunsil, and their other tackle, Titus Howard are the only guys untouchable. So you're talking about Brandon Cooks on the block, Randall Cobb again, and Will Fuller. Do they sell? Do they not? If Will Fuller goes, Green Bay is a destination that, as a person to watch, like me, obviously I don't want Green Bay to succeed. I'm a Vikings fan, but when it comes to watching football and wanting to see like Aaron Rodgers get weapons like that they don't want to give him, I love to see the GM move and get Will Fuller there. It's a problem. Like That's how you checkmate the Bucks. Go get Will Fuller because people are like, oh, Will Fuller, he get hurt all the time, blah blah blah. All right, put away Aaron Rodgers and see what happens. Like that's a different animal.
I'm already telling y'all, he playing 16 games this year. He gonna get 1,000 yards. Like Fuller been balling out.
So far, you've been right.
And I mean,
he played 7 games now? Ain't it? Like they 7 for 7. How many games they played? 6 or 7, whatever it is. But
we going in week 8, and they're on the bye. So he's 7 for 7.
He played all of them so far. He got knocked out of the Ravens game, but came back. So it's all good. And man, that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Man, just for the jokes, I wouldn't mind seeing it be Brandon Cooks. Man, you get blessed with Brady, Breeze, Watson, and Rodgers. Wait, and then at least Cooks signed for a couple of years, so. Green Bay don't never pay nobody, so at least if you get Cooks, he locked in for a little while.
That is pretty funny.
He just always get concussions.
I'm about to say that is pretty funny though. Like other guys be like Hopkins was blessed with T.J. Yates and Ryan Mallett's, but Brandon Cooks get traded and he get everybody. That could potentially be in the Hall of Fame, with Watson. So that'll actually be pretty funny to see. Other receivers I heard about, bro. Like I see the Eagles are finally doing what I said do. Get rid of Alshon and Deshaun Jackson. Like I don't understand why they're going through this every.
Nobody want them. They too hurt, man. Like Alshon has been hurt more than almost anybody I can think of.
Honestly, I would cut both of them. What's the point? What's the point of like Deshaun? All right, so I played Deshaun Jackson last week in the Thursday night game. He got me 6 fantasy points. Okay, but then he hurt himself again, and now he's out again. Like. What's the point? What's the point of trotting them out every year and doing the same thing? Oh, let's go find this Travis Fulgham guy. Oh, let's go Nelson Aguilar. Oh, let's go draft J-Jaw. Like, it's just, why? Why are you putting yourself through this type of, problem every single year? So, if I'm the Eagles, man, if I can't trade Jeffrey for a 7th, a 6th, if I can't get him for that, he cut.
Nobody trading for that.
Cut. Well, you cut. So
he not worth it.
And the thing is, y'all know I love Alshon Jeffrey. South Carolina all day
people
long.
Barely want Ertz right now. People like Ertz name and flow. But
Ertz get traded too. I traded Ertz too. All of them. Ertz, Jackson, and Jeffrey. Because honestly, Carson Wentz don't really care who he got. He gonna do what he got to do. And when you got that kind of quarterback, that's when like. Just give me somebody who's gonna be here. Like, just give me somebody who's gonna stay here and be healthy.
He need Warren Body. He need a pulse.
Like, just get Travis Fulgham, man, receiver 1. But they should.
So you got him. You already drafted Rieger, and you drafted Arcega-Whiteside. So you would think you have some guys for the future, but everybody on IR.
Everybody, Sanders, Goddard,
everybody
the whole line, Lane Johnson, the whole line. It's ridiculous. So I'm with the idea of just cutting. Bye. It is what it is, Jeffrey. I'm sorry. Jackson, it is what it is. He was great. Bye. Like, I just can't do it. Zach Ertz, I'd trade Zach Ertz. I heard that Green Bay was interested and some other teams were interested before he got hurt, but I'm so glad Eagles didn't fall for that and paid him. Whew.
His value.
He talking about he wanted Kelsey and Kittle money. Why?
No, his value is no longer at Kelsey Kittle.
But he was
top 3 tight end. He's not there anymore.
Yeah, he's not top 5.
Get injured right now. He's not there. He couldn't even get Hooper money right now. He's not gonna get paid.
Hooper, he's not getting Waller money,
big time money.
And Andrews next to get paid, and he's not getting that. So yeah, he out of there. So I think as far as weapons, I think that's pretty all the guys I've heard. I heard of Kyle Rudolph from the Vikings getting traded, but I mean, I think the real world is kind of like, do we really want to trade for a tight end? And just like in fantasy, we never trade for tight end. Like, we're not going to like put assets into tight end. So if anything, you getting Kyle for like a 6. Like, you're not even, as much as he means for Minnesota, it's kind of disrespectful to give him a 6. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, we're just doing this for a year because like we're not going to do this for long. So
I mean, he's been one of the healthier guys in the league.
That is true. So
I think he hasn't missed a game in like 6, 7 years.
He never missed a game.
So at least he'll be there. Like, that's the kind of guy who Wentz needs. Just give you a warm body who's gonna be there.
Yeah. A name I heard, I thought it was kind of weird. Kenny Galladay to the Giants. Did you hear that?
Nah.
And I was sitting, but the face you made, I was like, why?
But it wouldn't surprise me because they do.
But why would the Lions sell Galladay? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you? No, I think it's more of a
Because his contract coming up, man, they might not want to pay him.
what else you gonna do? It's just,
Start over.
I, if you do that, if I'm staying, I want out. I'm not. I'm not playing. I'm not playing on a star receiver again. Like that's just stupid. So I mean,
Like
and
right now, if you're in a country with COVID going on,
yeah,
somewhat uncertainty with salary cap. I think they're gonna try to roll some money over stuff like that. But if you're in a contract year, bad situation, there's a lot of uncertainty. Why not get shop, request a trade or whatnot? Like even guys like Amari Cooper, like even though he's locked up for a long time, like just ask out, bro. You don't know if Dak will come back or not. Yeah, Cowboys gave up a lot to get you from the Raiders, but I mean, just ask out. They already got Lamb and Gallup. They really don't need you. They paid Zeke. I mean,
Cowboys GM
like
Jerry Jones
they're gonna be stuck.
the thinking of all these things just don't quite sit with me.
Like Cowboys are stuck. So it
Cowboys
wouldn't surprise
done.
me it wouldn't surprise me if Cooper is shopped heavily between Sunday and Monday night.
All three. Oh, not Lamb, but Gallup too. Talk about pass catchers, and they say what? Hey, the Cowboys are 0-7 against the spread, so I think we should bet on Eagles this weekend. You with me? Because
yeah, bro. I don't know who Danucci is, but I just can't bet. I can't bet on Danucci. I got to go the other way. Give me Wentz all day.
Dang, I was about to say something. Oh, like if you told me we're going to trade Kenny Galladay, get assets, we're going to move on from Stafford, then I'll be okay with the Galladay trade. But if you're going to trade Galladay away and keep Stafford, I'm going to be upset. Just because I want Stafford to succeed, and that's not helping him. Just we talked about earlier about Tom Brady leaving the Patriots for Bucks. Like that's not helping him. Getting rid of another weapon is not helping him. You want him to go out there with Amendola and Marvin Jones? Like I like Marvin. I like Amendola. Am I 1-2 though? Come on, like that's
not getting it done.
That's not getting it done. That's not getting it done. While you talk about the Cowboys.
I mean, they got T.J. Hawkinson. He hasn't fully emerged.
He's okay.
So, I mean,
he's solid. I mean, he's solid.
So like, I can see Lions really honestly just starting over. Like you drafted Swift.
They starting over.
Like Kerryon Johnson, he was drafted a year or two ago, but hasn't really panned out. So like they're kind of playing in the middle.
Yeah,
like they haven't said we're gonna rebuild. They haven't said we're gonna try to compete. They're kind of playing the middle. We got Stafford.
But what you don't do,
we got guys in like overlapping each other.
But what you don't do, you don't rebuild with Patricia. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do.
I mean, he should get fired. Honestly, like yeah, they're 3-3, but man, y'all had Jim Caldwell. Y'all were at least fighting for division, almost playoffs, like right. 9-7.
I mean, Lions
do
do what Lions do as far as like get close and then collapse. I mean, that's better than going 4-12. I mean, I don't know, because it's not like you 4-12 and getting Mahomes in the draft, or you getting a game changing, player. You drafted T.J. Hawkinson top 10, like you drafted a tight end, like that's. I mean, that's either here or there, but
yeah, they got Okudah, Hawkinson,
and Okudah ain't looking
Swift.
good. So he's not looking good right now, and he's a rookie. You
got Swift, Kerryon. Like I can see them just kind of starting over. Like maybe get Galladay out of there and let just swapping some stuff out. I mean, they got a few guys they signed to deals in the off season, but you're trying to play in the middle. Like you're gonna just be you got to go and go one way or the other.
If the Giants was to get Megatron, baby Megatron, Kenny Galladay. Like, what do you think that does? Does anything for New York? I mean, because I don't know why that would be the team that gets him. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you the team that's going to trade assets when you need all the assets you can get? Unless you're going to flip Golden Tate, you're gonna trade Slayton. That's about the only, because you already paid Shepard and you got Saquon. So unless you're gonna do that, that's what kind of holding me back on that. Like, what's the point? But
I mean, I can see them keeping Slayton.
No, I'm saying like you might well keep what you got.
Like,
what's the point?
But I think they'll. But Slayton's not really a true one. Like Galladay's a one.
Now I tell you this: you get rid of Dan Jones and you bring Stafford over and Galladay sign Stafford and bring Galladay over. I'm with it.
Like they need an O line boy. I don't care who they got quarterback. They need an O line boy. Anything they drafted Andrew Thomas and he's a rookie.
But you need more than that.
It's gonna take a little bit of time to develop that new coach. So they need a lot more than just a receiver and stuff like that. Saquon banged up. They better not pay him when it's time.
Well, they will. You know they will. That's gonna be stupid. But neither here nor there. Proper rule number 1: don't pay running backs. So you talked about the Cowboys earlier about this quarterback who I don't. You knew his name. I didn't. Even, I knew he started with D. Um, do they buy a quarterback? Because I'm not impressed at all with Andy Dalton. Like at all. I thought like coming into this when Dak got here, I was like, well, they could be fine because if Carson Wentz is before Dalton played, Carson Wentz was playing at football, and now he's back to balling, and Dalton cannot compete with that. I don't think he could compete with Cal. He's not even compete with Cal Allen. Like they play with toe to toe. Yeah, the Washington defensive line is better than Cowboys defense, but this Cal Allen we talking about. Like, and I don't know. I mean, you got names like Fitzpatrick, Tyrod, Jacoby Brissett, but I don't know if they even swing the lead. I think Fitzpatrick does, but or make you better than. But does Jacoby Brissett even make you better? But you can get him. I feel like you can get him for nothing. I mean, I don't think coach want him as the future anyway. So should they go make a trade for Jacoby, or should they just stay packed and hope Dalton get him? Because, or should they just tank? I guess tanking is the best idea. Go get you a high pick because you might have to go get you a quarterback. Because why pay in this situation with Lamb, you pay Cooper, you pay Zeke. Why would you pay Dak now at this point? If you're gonna be sorry, you might well get you Trevor Lawrence, might well get you Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? Like you might well get you a quarterback if that's the case.
Nah, Cowboys will probably stand pat as they should. I mean, no point in wasting money
You
salary
already
cap on the
wasted
QB.
money already.
Like you're already spending money for no reason. So just stay pat. Whatever the season brings is what it brings. And I mean, I won't blame Andy Dalton for his performance on either one of these games. I mean,
He's not helping though.
it's so much going on with the Cowboys. I just can't point the finger at
It
Andy.
is a lot.
I'm gonna start with the coaching staff. I'm gonna start with Mike McCarthy. Like, what's y'all game plan? Because so far you got players calling out unpreparedness, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call out Zeke. You fumbling the ball, you killing drives. So you can't even you're not even setting your offensive teammates or Andy up to put
Success.
points on the board in certain games. So I mean, you can point the blame at the offensive line hasn't been great. I mean, granted, it's getting older and deteriorating. So
And the
I
defense
mean,
are.
yeah, like you have no secondary, so teams are going to put up hella points on you. So that requires Andy to be on the field more often and be more than what he really is. So I'm not going to say Andy has been great because he hasn't been great, but I'm not going to completely bail right now either. Yeah, the DC performance while he was in didn't look great, and when he came in the other game when Dak went out, he wasn't great either. But just in spots, I saw him make throws that were like, "Oh, Andy can do something." Like there was one, I think Gallup dropped it right off his hands.
And
Like,
see the land
like
it
was,
slant too. Yeah.
yeah, like it was certain things. I was like, "Well, Andy, he's making these throws where guys are capable and open to get it." So like, if you're moving the ball and Zeke don't fumble, like you got some drives going and you can get something rolling. So it all works together. Like it's a melting pot. It all works together. So I'm not totally out on Andy or the Cowboys quite yet. If Andy comes back and maybe they have a come to Jesus type moment. All right, look, trade deadline's gone. Look, we can still win the division, so let's fix it. Like if you got an issue with a coach, player, whatever, call it out. Let's try to get on the same page and work it out. So I won't completely bail on him right now, but maybe give it a week or two. Let's see what happens when he comes out of concussion protocol, and let's just kind of see if they can kind of get on the right path. If they make a trade or something, let's just give it like 2 weeks and see before I'm completely out on them.
Let me ask you this: if they lose this weekend, which we both think they will, do you think they still have a shot? Because you're talking about Eagles going up a game, well, they're up one, so you go up another game on them, and Eagles got Giants again. And based off the matchup, I don't think Cowboys can beat Washington.
I'm still giving them a chance. Like this division
I
will
don't.
come down to the last week for whoever it is, because they all gonna beat each other up.
Well,
Like
yeah,
Eagles
Eagles
barely
don't match
beat
up.
Giants.
Eagles don't match up with the Washington either. I think Washington match up without Dak. Washington match up easily with the Eagles and the Cowboys, and but Washington the team that lose the Giants, which they did. Like like you say, they're gonna beat each other, and the Eagles. I forgot the Eagles schedule, but I think it does lighten up. So
Yeah, nobody has the advantage though. Like what Washington beat Philly early in the year.
but lost the
They
Giants.
Eagles barely beat the Giants. Like Giants should have won that game. They
They
had
should
it. I
have.
mean,
Should have.
Ingram Ingram dropped a
Catch ball.
pass, they
Oh,
would have,
yeah.
so stuff like that, man. Like, it's yeah, the DC football team destroyed the Cowboys, but for the most part, they're all on even playing field. Yeah, Eagles have the best quarterback, but they're missing so many guys. I think DC
Rod,
has the best
Roster.
defense. So like, it's
Yeah.
just so much stuff. Like, they're all on the even playing field. 8-8 should win it. Whoever gets 8-8 is gonna probably win it.
I feel you. Surprisers. Do you think Sam Darnold or Haskins, if you get an alert that says they've been traded, how surprised are you with either one?
Haskins, I wouldn't kill because like I don't know who would even take a chance on Haskins. I mean, outside of sticking him behind Russ just to learn, I don't really see what's the upside of getting Haskins. Like, he may just be out in the league after this year.
Damn.
Because there's been too many reports of work ethic, social
I
media
thought he was
addict, and all kind
I
of
thought he
stuff.
was gonna
So
do something when he like lost all the weight and obviously he just posted videos so you're like, oh okay, I see what you're doing. You're looking slim and you're looking fit and let's see and then we ain't see nothing. So
yeah, if Darnold gets traded, that's the person the Cowboys should go after. At least he's young, rookie deal for right now. You'll get 2 more years of the rookie scale, maybe even since he was a first round pick, you might even get 3 more years of it because I think that was a late pick, so he only had 4 years versus
right.
Darnold, you get 5 years.
Yeah.
So if somebody's gonna go get Darnold, it should be the Cowboys, but they traded so much stuff to go get Cooper, they probably can't even go get Darnold, and that's if they even believe in Darnold
Right.
because he's been terrible.
Yeah, so I just thought like if the Jets were really to like what let's just because you gotta think like any coach that come into any situation, Atlanta, Houston, well outside Houston probably because they probably gonna love Watson, but Atlanta with Matt Ryan being 34, 35 or going into what did you say the Jets, like you're not gonna you watch Darnold. I don't think he's gonna wow you like, oh, this guy my future. Like you want somebody else, especially if you're offensive minded and like you run a different scheme or something. You like I don't know if he can do my just like the Cardinals when they had Rosen and Kyler Murray, like they made a great decision to do what they did, and now they're in 2 years removed, and now they can win the division. Like that's I mean it's risky, but yet that's what you want to do. That's what you're gonna do. So if you think Trevor Lawrence is the man, Darnold out of there. Cause they're not gonna win no games this year. Now me saying that probably just jinxed it, and they probably gonna win a game that they shouldn't win. But if I'm talking about let's see the Jets schedule, man, cause like I know they play the Jaguars, don't they? No, they don't. No, they got Chiefs this week. Chiefs this week. That's a loss.
Unless it's something on the back end, they might not steal one. I know coming into the year, I think you had them at like 1 or 2 wins. I had them. I was being generous and gave them 3.
I think I had
but
them,
like,
I think I had them being like I don't know who I had to beat because
but I can't see who they're gonna beat now because all the talent is gone. You got guys kind of giving up on the season. Like guys are now just playing for like their bonuses and incentives, and then we haven't even hit trade deadline to see if Crowder gets moved or who else gets moved. Like Adams is gone, Bell is out there, so we don't know what else could happen. Where it's like they're in full blown fire sale mode. They're gonna start over in the draft, and they could be a 0-16 team. We thought it's gonna be the Jazz, but it could be the Jets.
I'm gonna say Jazz might be 1-15. But Jets, I'm gonna name the rest of the schedule. Jets, they play the Chiefs, lost. Patriots, I don't care how bad the Patriots are, they're gonna beat Jets. Chargers, Dolphins, Raiders, Seattle, Rams, Browns, and then Patriots again. Unless you're saying that they can beat an AFC East team, they're not beating nobody else. They're not beating the Browns. They're not beating the Rams, Seattle, or Raiders. They're not beat the Chargers or the Patriots. I mean, the Chiefs. So unless they beat the AFC East team, like because Tua's young or because Patriots got too many injuries and have no weapons and can't score enough, and Sam Darnold scored maybe like twice or something, that's the only way. They own 16, so you're talking about getting Trevor Lawrence. Or are you going to sit here and say Sam Darnold is worth keeping and passing on Trevor? You're not going to do it. So the same situation is going to happen. So what happened to Rosen going to happen to Darnold just a couple years later for him. And that's what happened. And some team going to get him. Some team going to take a chance. I mean, and maybe give him a chance, maybe. But Trevor Lawrence, I mean, unless Trevor Lawrence pull some John Elway crap, I ain't coming or I ain't playing. And they still might draft Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Lawrence don't want to come. So,
Like, I want to see what happens with Baker the rest of the season, man, because this could try to be like one of the worst draft classes ever. Because like Rosen, top pick, flipped to Miami. Now he's just on Tampa Bay
Practice
holding the
squad.
clipboard. Like Darnold had a all right first year, made some progress when he came back second after Mono, got him to 8-8, whatever. But now he's regressed his third year, so he may, if they're bad, they'll
2
start
out of
over,
5, man.
get him out of there. So now you're looking at all right, Josh Allen. He's doing his thing. Started off from MVP hot, but he's kind of pulled
I
back
think
some. So
I think Josh
maybe he
is.
just plays in the middle.
I would say I think Josh is more of a 15 to 25 quarterback, and with the ability to be a top 10 at any given moment. I think that's Josh.
Man, you had Lamar win MVP, so now it's like, all right, let's see if do people feel like Odell's holding Baker back, or like what's the deal with Baker? Like he's the kind of guy right now that I want to see if it's going to be a success or fail on Baker's part.
We talked. I was just thinking about what if the Browns got rid of Baker for Stafford or Ryan.
I doubt they do it though. Like they're invested in him. I doubt they do it.
I'll get rid of him. I mean, I don't know. Let's flip the game. Talk about the game real quick tonight. Atlanta, Carolina. I actually this earlier. I said, all right, profit theory. We talked about the quarterbacks behind Tom Brady. QB1 in that NFC South is Tom Brady. We both think Breeze is at the bottom. So who you think the better quarterback tonight? Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Ryan.
I mean, with their defense being so bad, I might say Teddy has a better game.
I think they both top 5. I think in passing yards this season right now. So that's pretty good for Teddy.
Because Falcons' defense is so bad. I mean, and just looking at, it came on like one big play, but DJ Moore had like 90-something yards. I think he had like 70 on like one play.
Yeah.
He scored. Robbie's been kind of taking the top off in spots, and
he still got Mike Davis back there.
Yeah, Falcons with no secondary. Robbie could get one, and Curtis Samuel really hasn't even done much this year. So Teddy has the weapons. So I don't know, man. I think Teddy could maybe hit 275, maybe 300 passing yards if it turns into an air and out shootout type of game. Because we haven't had any great Thursday games this year. So hopefully we get a shootout, man. I hope 38-35 or something, man. Give me something crazy.
What about, all right, so you saw the video about Matt Ryan telling Todd Gurley not to score, right? And Gurley scored anyway. I don't think he tried to, but I thought he would get tackled, and he broke it, and he didn't really have no way to. It was too late. But
people forget on the Rams one time he did stop, and people were mad he didn't get a touchdown.
I remember that. He said, yeah, I remember that. So I'll say this. Raheem Morris probably, if you repeat that play 100 times, 95% probably Atlanta win that game. From that play on to the rest of the game, I think it's pretty sure that Atlanta probably win that game because you get the first down, game over. And with that being said, Raheem Morris probably could be 2-0 right now, beating the Lions, beating the Vikings, going into a Thursday night football game versus Matt Rule, who only have 2 wins as well. So another theory, the coaches, man, we know Bruce Arians, Sean Payton 1 and 2. Does Raheem Morris make a name for himself tonight? Like the defense has responded pretty well the last 2 games, and the offense is clicking with Julio Jones back in the lineup. So what's your thoughts about Raheem?
Well, too early to tell right now. I mean, they won the first game, should have won the second game, but I think he's just a breath of fresh air to the locker room and to the team.
I get you.
You're like, he's been on the staff, but just that Dan Quinn factor being in the room, I think that's kind of was holding the team back. And you kind of at some point get tired of having that voice in the locker room. I'm gonna go with Falcons to win the game. I thought they should have won last week. Bogus things happened and they lost. So I'm taking the Falcons to win, but I think Teddy could have a better game statistically than Matt Ryan. Yeah.
That's pretty much all our time we got. We are the Prophets. Myself and Rashad, man. We got something interesting coming up soon. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Spreaker, you can Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Shout out to 12 on Sports Opportunity. And we keep grinding, man. So preach.